Okay, so story time. So I go running on a running path near my house pretty much 3 or 4 times a week. And anytime I'm on that running path and I see a woman approaching, I try to make sure I give her as much room as possible so that she feels comfortable and she feels safe going by me. I do this every time. And I do it because I realize women want that space. They want to feel safe when they're on a bike path and they're by themselves and they see a man approaching, they want to feel safe. So I always give them that space. And it's something I've talked to my wife about, and she says, "Yeah, definitely do that every single time." And here's another reason why. So my wife and I, we try to go jogging together a lot of times, but sometimes our schedules don't mesh. So she goes jogging by herself, I go jogging by myself. It just happens that way once or twice a week. The other day, she went on a jog, and she's at this area near our home where we jog to go up this hill and down this hill. It's to get a little bit of hill work in. We don't live in a hilly area, but it's an overpass basically. So as she's jogging, she's obviously always paying attention to her surroundings. So she goes to this area, she parks, and she's jogging. As she's jogging, she sees a guy kind of creeping by her on the road and just kind of looking at her and everything, right? So she just kind of keeps on her jog. She sees him turn around, and then he parks near her car. And he's just sitting there in his car, near her car, and he's giving her the ick. She's looking at him and thinking, why is this guy doing this? So she decides she's going to jog right up to her car, get in it, and leave, right? And that's what she does. She jogs right up to her car, she gets in it, and she leaves, and then he leaves as well. She drives around a couple of turns, loses him or whatever, and then goes to another area to finish off her jog. This is not the first time something like that has happened. This is in broad daylight. I've also been at that same hill with my daughters or other, women that I've been training. I take my team there and there's guys and girls there, and there's always men driving by, whistling, honking their horns. It's out of hand ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So when that whole viral thing went, right, where people were saying, would you choose a bear or a man in the woods alone? And women were saying the bear definitely. This is why. This is why women choose the bear, because they have had so many experiences like my wife has had, like I've had on the hill with coaching other women, like other women have had. I'm sure many of you have had this experience. If you've been on a walk or a jog without someone, you've had someone try to either pull up to you, yell something at you, honk at you, or whatever. This is why men shouldn't be asking themselves the question, why would a woman choose a bear over a man? They should be asking, why is she not choosing us? Why are we not being chosen? What do we need to do so that women would choose to be in the woods with us alone rather than a bear? We have to be aware of the things we do to make women feel uncomfortable. We have to be aware of that. Obviously, some men do it on purpose. But what I'm saying is the same way when I'm on the jogging path and I see a woman approaching and I try to give her as much room as I can, same way I am about not, oogling at women if they're going for a jog or whatever. We have to be aware of those things, because those little things coupled with the purposeful, icky, misogynistic, just horrible things that men will do just make this world more and more uncomfortable for women. And, believe me, my wife and I, we've talked about this. And, I know a lot of people will be in my comments saying, have her be careful and this and that. And believe me, we're very careful. We've taken some steps to make sure if this happens again, she's protected and so forth and so on. But again, we're not blaming the victim. We're not doing that. We're not telling my wife that she shouldn't go jogging. We're not telling women that and listen, I'm not saying we shouldn't be aware of our surroundings. But we as men are not going to tell women what they should do to make themselves safer. We should just make them safer. Period.
don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.